That, my friends, is why you don't drink bubbly drinks.
Well, I'm having myself a Dr. Pepper.
Diet or regular?
Zero sugar. I only really drink the zero sugar stuff.
Do you think you can tell the difference between Diet Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke and zero sugar Dr. Pepper or Coke?
Well, Diet Coke and zero sugar, I could definitely tell the taste. Because, zero sugar tastes more like Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh, okay. Like, I always buy the zero sugar
Diet Coke's kind of its
one
own taste.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think I could definitely tell the difference between regular Coke and zero sugar because, I don't know, it's probably so sweet it kind of almost like hurts.
Yeah.
Now, and I remember, like, Coke Classic, I don't really have, like, regular Coke anymore.
Yeah.
Or just, like, full sugar Coke. But I always remember it kind of making my my teeth feel almost like sandpapery or like you know, like sticky in a way that the zero sugar stuff does not.
I see. Well, if you ever come out here for a visit, we can do a blind test and see.
I think that I'd very easily be able to tell the difference.
Sorry, I forgot. I don't have my notebook.
Okay, you want me to?
Right. Can you be in charge of writing stuff down this time?
Just like stuff that we mention?
Yeah, I just make a list of all the things that we talk about, and then that way when I write the description for the show at the end, I can, have it in there.
Or you can say the guys talk about.
Yes, exactly.
This.
Yes. I just kind of do that because, like, it's really there as metadata, so that if someday someone's like, "Oh man, I want to listen to that one episode of the show where they talked about like high fidelity or something," for example.
Yeah.
And then probably if you go type like, here's my question for you, high fidelity, it'll come up.
Right.
Whereas
that makes sense.
some people just don't. It's funny, I see some like even like big YouTube channels that really don't use the description box, and I always think it's weird because that's all searchable text, where if someone just types into the search bar on YouTube that they're looking for something, it includes that, although it actually also includes YouTube does the auto closed captions, and it includes that as searchable text too. So
oh, interesting.
Although I think that might be a newer thing. But there's been times where I've been looking for something. I remember the guy mentioned, whatever, and I'll type it in. And it's like, it's not in the description because it was just some offhand comment they made, but it got, captioned or whatever. And so you can find it.
Did you see that you had to opt out of the feature where they could dub your videos in a different language, but using your voice?
No, I didn't see that at all.
There's an AI option where I think you have to enable it, but it makes it so that it will dub your videos in a different language, but it uses your voice.
See, part of me is like, I don't want you doing that to my show, but also part of me really wants to hear that.
Yeah.
I
wonder if you could just have it done and then download it and listen to it.
Yeah. I think if anything, it's like, if you want me to opt into that, let me hear a preview or whatever, dub my video into like Swahili and let me check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's theoretically it's a cool idea. I think it's just the idea that they're using your voice, like they are obviously like using the sound of your voice and it's going into their pool of information.
I wonder, like, certainly I must be able to purchase some software where I could do that myself, right?
I don't know.
I'd love to play around with that just for fun.
Not
that I would never stop doing my own voiceover on my show, but I mean, if I ever again do a show that has voiceover in it, because at this point it's been a while. Sorry, it's really bothering me. I don't have any paper in front of me.
Okay, do you want to go and grab something?
No,
because
I got some over here.
That'd be okay.
It's just off camera.
Yeah.
My butt on camera.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I'll blur that out. No one needs to see that. No, because I just while we're sitting here, I keep thinking of things that we should discuss. So I just don't want to forget.
Yeah. Have you been doing any yard work at all this summer so far?
No. Well, that's a weird question. No.
I don't know.
Well, we don't have lawn anymore, and so like.
Well, you did a bunch of work like on the external aspect of your house last year, the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, in the backyard. Yeah, I just ripped out. I basically was ripping out the landscape back there. So, but we haven't put in new. It's like a whole thing because we have like a wall separating our house from the house next door, and that wall needs to be repaired, and so we don't want to plant anything in front of the wall until we repair it. But then we're still kind of deciding what we want to do with the wall, and it's just one of those things where you have to do A before you can do B, and B before you can do C, and it's all very annoying. So basically we haven't done anything yet. I got this new eraser. I've never seen. It's called a Mitsubishi Super Eraser, and it's like
so it's like a pencil size.
It's like
eraser?
one of those grease pencils, right? Where you pull the string and unwrap it, and there's like pencil or there's like eraser inside of here.
Did you like go out of your way to buy that specifically, or did you just happen to see it someplace and be like, I'm going to get this?
So my birthday was recently. And
well, happy belated birthday.
Thanks. I'm 48 now. So yeah. So my wife and I went to San Francisco because I hadn't been to San Francisco in a while, and I wanted to go to Amoeba Records in San Francisco for reasons that I will discuss at a time of my choosing. But we went to an art supply store while we were there. And when I go to art supply stores, I'm really just looking for pencils because I'm not. The only thing I do that could be considered art is my show, if you want to even consider that art. So I'm saying I have no need for, paint and things like that. But, I have kind of a weird fetish for writing instruments, but, in particular pencils. Like I'm not that much of a pen guy. Yeah. And so I went in there and I picked up a few, I got a box of, I was excited about this. I got a box of General semi-hex pencils because these are still made here. See, Dixon Ticonderoga pencils are no longer made here, and that annoys me. I think I have some old Dixon Ticonderoga.
So are semi-hex?
Oh yeah, there's a Dixon
pencil, just like your typical like number 2 pencil.
Yeah. They're semi-hex because pencils have a hexagonal profile, and some of them are like the corners of the hexagon are pretty sharp. And these are sort of rounded off. So that's why they're called semi-hex. So they're just a little more comfortable to hold. But like I said, when I was a kid, I always felt like Dixon Ticonderogas, like this one, were sort of the cream of the crop. And they were, but now they're made in, I think Mexico. I forgot where, but they're not made here anymore. So I don't like that. Yeah. So, but I believe Generals are made in New Jersey, if I remember correctly. So shout out to anybody out there in New Jersey.
When you were a kid, did you ever have a thing that went on that slid on your pencil that was like a rubber thing?
Absolutely,
that, was supposed to like help you.
Yeah.
Do they still make stuff like that, you think?
Oh yeah. I had different ones. There's the one that's just a triangle that's kind of boring, but then there's like the ones and then there's the foam ones that are also kind of boring. But then there was that one that was like specifically molded to get you to hold your pencil correctly. Because I don't hold a pencil the way you're supposed to hold a pencil. I feel like when I was a kid, they would drill that into you that you have to hold a pencil exactly this way.
Yeah, I mean, I have a real hard time.
I hold it like that.
I hold it like this, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't go that bad, but yeah.
But yeah.
So I don't like those things, but yeah, I was excited I got that. And then I saw this super eraser, and so I had that, and then my wife was just like, "Oh, what'd you find?" I was like, "Oh, I got this box of pencils, and I got this I like getting erasers that are separate, like.
Yeah.
And I've never seen this one before. It's like teal. I don't know if you can tell there.
Yeah, I can see.
And I was just like, what is that? Because I like just the standard white plastic eraser, like Stapler erasers, or here's a Pentel white plastic eraser. And I've got this.
It's interesting you keep the like the cardboard stuff.
Here's
on it.
There's a Stapler. There's a Pentel. And then this is a Japanese brand, Mono. This is a Mono dust catch. That one's black. And then now I got a teal one.
Just got all your different erasers.
Well, this is my desk. This is where the magic happens,
Yeah, but I just think it's funny that you have so many erasers and they're all significantly used. Like you just don't use one eraser until it's gone.
No,
you have several, and you just
it's the same with pencils. Like I mean, I'm not saying I don't use up pencils, but I try to spread it around. But anyway, so I got the super eraser, and my wife saw it, and she was just like, "Oh, can you go grab me one of those?" Because she thought it was cool too. You know, my wife and I were made for each other. You know. Yeah. Hey, we just had. I forgot if I brought it up in the last show. We just had our 25th anniversary.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Quarter century.
Yeah, we've spent pretty much our entire adult lives together, which is pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I guess my wife and I are like 20 now.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing. Such a weird amount of time.
Yeah. So speaking of my wife, though, this was kind of bizarre, I thought. Well, that's overstating things. But so at the grocery store that we go to like a food co-op for, you know, most of our food needs. I'm kind of friends with one of the guys that works there, like he's one of the checkers, you know, or cashiers.
Yeah.
Because he used to work at the magazine store that's like the magazine store where I go pick up my retro gamer every month. He used to work there, and then he left and went to work at the food co-op. So now I see him there all the time. And like we're always like swapping movie recommendations back and forth.
Yeah.
And we're about the same age. And so last time I was in there with my wife, and he came up to us. And he was just like, you know, you and I are about the same age, so you know, you probably grew up, you know, with Pee-Wee Herman. And I was like, well, yeah, you know. And he says you should go check out this documentary that just came out.
Oh yeah, my wife really wants to watch that.
Yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, sure, like, you know, I'm in, because it's like a 2-part. It's like 2 90-minute halves. So I guess they didn't want to make one 3 hours. They made 2 hour-and-a-half episodes, whatever, you know.
It's like Pee-Wee himself or something like that.
Yeah, it's called like Pee-Wee as himself or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a talking head. Like it's Paul Rubens just sitting in a chair with a camera on him. But he's looking into the camera. He's not doing that stupid thing where he's looking off to the side. I hate that. And I mean, every once in a while you hear the interviewer, but it's mostly him talking and just like narrating his own life with, you know, clips, you know, put in there, or they'll interview like they interviewed his sister, you know, and stuff like that. But I mean, I think it's really good. So anyway, you know, he told us, oh, you know, you guys should watch that. And I was like, yeah, okay, you know. And then, like the next day or something, my wife tells me, she's like, oh, you know, I watched the trailer for that and it looks really good. You know, we should watch it, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, you know? And so, we had already planned that night on watching a movie, and I really wanted to still watch a movie. And so I said, well, how about if we'll watch one episode of Pee-Wee as himself, and then we'll watch a movie after that. And she says, oh yeah, that's good, you know? And so we're watching the first episode of Pee-Wee as himself. And then she kind of makes a couple of comments that make it kind of clear to me that she's not really familiar with Pee-Wee Herman. Mm-hmm. Like she just knows him from like a picture, like, you know, she'd see a picture and like, oh, that's that Pee-Wee guy, right? But she's like never seen any of his stuff, which I didn't realize, because I'm like, well, then, you know, why did you want to?
Yeah, it's like,
what was your interest in watching? I didn't say that to her. I was just kind of like, well, it's kind of weird then that you wanted to watch this, but I'm glad you wanted to watch it. So, you know, when it came out, or when it became clear to me she'd never seen any of it, I just kind of like canceled whatever movie that I was, because I hadn't told her, I think, what movie we were going to watch anyway. So in my head, I'm like, well, we're not watching that anymore. We're going to watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure instead. So that she can see it, you know? And so we did that, which is cool, because I haven't seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure in a very long time. Probably like,
oh my gosh. I mean, I could talk at length about it, because I watched it. I don't know if I mentioned it on here.
You did. No, I remember you watched it recently with like, didn't you watch it with at least one of your kids?
Yeah. With, my daughter watched some of it, but my son like watched the whole thing and was just like filled with questions the entire time. Yeah. And it was the first time I had seen the movie in a very long time. Yeah. And it's like the entire movie is just like total nonsense. It's like, it's almost amazing that it got made, because it's just like vignettes of like ridiculous stuff happening. Yeah. That are almost like not connected in any way. Yeah. It's just like the journey is like the only thing. Like he's trying to get to this place and do this thing. Yeah. and it's just nonsense the entire time.
It was interesting. I don't want to ruin the documentary, but I just, I had no idea. It was, he was talking about how it came to be that he could make this movie, and that, when Warner Brothers hired him, they gave him an office on the studio lot, and it was him and Phil Hartman, and I forgot the name of the third guy, that were writing this movie together. And he said they were writing the movie, and I don't think they were real happy with how it was turning out, but they were just still kind of grinding away, like working on this movie. But he was saying that, like, on the Warner Brothers lot, but this is probably not, unique to that lot. It's just very common for people to ride their bike around, right? Like if you're, whether you're an actor or whatever, you're some kind of employee working there, you have a bike that you can use to get from your office to like the studio where something's being shot, or just to go to the cafeteria to eat, et cetera, et cetera. And he didn't have a bike. And I guess he was just kind of like, where do you get a bike? Like, I want a bike. Like, he was just not complaining, but he was just kind of like, I want to get one of these, whatever, And he said like one day he showed up at work, and like, I guess somebody at Warner Brothers had gotten him a bike. And it was, I guess, maybe at least similar to the bike that was in the movie. Like, they got him like this old red bike. And as soon as he got the bike, they went inside the office, and he was just like, throw away everything we've been working on. We're making a new movie. Boy gets a bike. Boy loves a bike. Bike gets stolen. Boy gets his bike back. And that's the basis for the movie. And then they sat down, and he said then the words were just flowing. Yeah,
that was the breakthrough, huh?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He mentioned what the original plot was going to be. I just forgot, but it was like not anything all that interesting.
Well, and like, I will admit that I've seen very few other movies, but none of the other movies have that same kind of feel to it.
No, I saw, you're talking about Pee-Wee Herman movies.
Like Big Top Pee-Wee.
Yeah, I saw Big Top Pee-Wee in the theater when it came out. And it's just, and it's interesting. Big Top Pee-Wee is interesting, I guess, to think about if you watch the documentary, because he talks about growing up in Sarasota, Florida, which was like, at least at that time, the headquarters of Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Okay.
And so he grew up around like circus people. Like, you'd go to the store and there'd be circus people, et cetera, And I think that was probably the inspiration for Big Top Pee-Wee. But yeah, it's just like, it doesn't have, I mean, it was, a lot of it was like, you got Tim Burton, that was Tim Burton's first studio film. That was Danny Elfman's first studio film that he scored. Like, it was just like, a bunch of things came together to make a really awesome movie that's not maybe really easily repeated,
Right. Well, it's almost impossible. I just don't think it would get made today.
Although I would say, because this is the other thing I did. I didn't bother having my wife watch it with me, but like on Max, is it HBO Max again yet? I've heard rumblings that they're going back to HBO Max.
They are going back to HBO Max.
Whatever it's called this week. Because that's where the Pee-Wee Herman documentary is, but that's also where they have Pee-wee's Big Adventure right now, but they also have the entire series of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Right.
So,
but did Pee-wee's Playhouse start before?
No, after.
Okay.
It was,
because even that never felt the same. It was just.
Well, that's what I was going to kind of get to, I guess. But so I watched the first episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which.
Yeah.
First of all, clearly that show was shot on film, and they've gone through and done like a whole restoration on it. So like, even though when you're watching it, it's in 4:3 because it's a TV show. I was shocked at how good it looked. Like, it looks gorgeous. Yeah. And I think they even updated some of the special effects. But my takeaway from, like I said, I only watched the first episode. Like, I thought, and I haven't seen an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse like since it was on TV. Like, so since I was like 12, I mean, I was like shocked at how good it is. Because I remember back then, I knew adults that watched that show. Like, they didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons, but they knew what time on Saturday morning Pee-wee's Playhouse came on, because that they were going to watch,
See, that makes me want to watch it. I had no real interest in revisiting it.
It's like so much concentrated creativity in like 22 minutes. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was amazing. I'm not going to sit there and watch the whole series probably, but just watching that one episode, I was just like, this is so much. It's so much better even than I remember it, and I remember it being awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes me want to go and check it out, because I don't have any fond memories of it. I just remember it was on, and I don't know. I could watch Big Adventure like over and over again.
Yeah.
But just nothing else seemed to hit in that same way. But maybe I should go back and watch that and get a better feel for it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, the first episode I felt like had everything I remembered. I mean, I didn't think, they don't have this character yet or that, you know.
Yeah. What did your wife think of Big Adventure then?
Oh, she really liked it. She just thought it was, you know, obviously
nonsense.
She thought it was a little bit bizarre, but I mean, she really
I mean,
enjoyed it.
It's weird. It's weird. I always remember my son saying like, and it's like the basis for everything that Pee-wee is. But my son was watching it and he says, "Why does he act like a little kid?"
Yeah, yeah.
and that is the $100 million question, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it was interesting because some of my wife, you know, she thought some things were weird about how, you know, like, because, you know, in the movie, like, Dottie is making a pretty strong play to be, like, you know, she wants to be Pee-wee's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's not having it. And, you know, I forgot what her exact issue with that was, but I was trying to explain to her, it's like, it's because Pee-wee he's like a little boy in a man's body. Like, Pee-wee's completely asexual. Like, he thinks girls are gross, not because, you know, because he's gay or something. He thinks girls are gross because mentally he's like 10, right? And so, like, he's that, it's like, you know, we all get to that age sometimes where, you know, we have an interest in girls when we're kids, but part of us still thinks that's gross or something. And I'm like, that's why it's not like he doesn't like Dottie or like he has a crush on somebody else. And that's why he doesn't want to go out with Dottie. It's because girls are gross for him at his mental age, you know?
And he just doesn't care. Yeah. He just doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah. He just thinks she's cool because she knows how to build cool bikes and do stuff like that. But like, he has no romantic interest in her because he has no romantic interest in anybody, you know? And then another thing, this was just a really funny coincidence. So, you know, the scene right after Large Marge where, you know, he ends up meeting, that waitress at that diner. I forgot her name, but, he meets the
before or after the big shoe dance. Is it like in the wooden clogs?
This is before the shoe dance. This is before the shoe dance. He meets that waitress, and then they go watch the sunrise inside one of those big dinosaurs.
The dinosaur from The Wizard.
Yeah, so that's what. Well, this is not about the wizard, but I forgot the name of the town. But I mean, those dinosaurs really exist, and it's in some town in Southern California that's along like Route 66, the old Route 66. And my wife didn't know that. I was like, you know, those dinosaurs are real. Like, they're in a real, you know, you can go see them, you know. And it was like 2 days later, we ended up watching another movie that had but they were just in the background because, like, you know, it was these two people that stopped. They were on their way driving from LA to Texas, and they stop to make a phone call, and they happened to stop there because the dinosaurs were in the background. I was like, hey, look, the dinosaurs.
Have you seen the dinosaurs in person?
No. But
I wonder how far they are from your house.
Far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like east of LA.
Okay.
So, but I also I'm not commenting one way or the other on how I feel about it, but you know, that whole thing got bought out by somebody that turned it into a creationist museum. So I'm not really interested in going there, you know.
Yeah. That's how it was here with like the Ark, the Noah's Ark.
Uh-huh.
It's like that's real close to my house.
Well, that kind of makes sense though, that Noah's Ark would turning big dinosaurs into a
I've never been.
Exhibit seems kind of odd.
That's weird to do it, especially with like they're like purple dinosaurs or something, right? Are they like
Well,
purple?
they'll change the color of them. I guess they got painted green for Christmas at some point or something, but
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like in Pee-wee's Big Adventure though, I feel like they were
I think one was red for sure. I forgot the color of the other one. Like red and green, red and blue, maybe something like that. But
yeah.
But anyway, we haven't watched the second part of the documentary yet. This all happened like a few days ago, so we're still going to watch. We've been having movie night like almost every night. So
That's cool. That's cool.
I've been buying up. That's why I wanted to go to Amoeba. I usually go to the Amoeba Records in Berkeley because we go to Berkeley more often. I don't usually go into San Francisco just because it's big. Although I really enjoyed, being there. I love San Francisco, so it was a great.
So you've been buying up 4K?
No, I just buy regular
Blu-rays.
Regular Blu-rays, but I own one 4K Blu-ray because it came with both, like regular Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray. I just don't like. I only have like a 42-inch TV. So, and like I have a Blu-ray player that it's not a 4K player, but it upscales everything to 4K. Like if you give it a DVD or you give it a Blu-ray, it upscales it to 4K and then outputs 4K.
Yeah.
And like, first of all, I think Blu-rays look incredible on my TV with this setup. And even DVDs, as long as it's like, it depends on the movie, obviously. But like I watched a movie the other day that was just on regular DVD. Because I have like a list going of like Blu-rays I'm looking for. And some of it's like, I have a movie I really love on DVD. And I'm like, oh, I should upgrade that to a Blu-ray copy. And I watched the movie on DVD and I was like, I don't need a Blu-ray copy. Like this looks great. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested in seeing what a 4K movie looked like on my TV, but
well, you have one. You should try it.
I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, I'm telling you. My Blu-ray player,
oh, that's right.
It can't read 4K discs. It just outputs 4K.
Got it. Okay.
Which seems strange, but that's just how that thing works.
You don't have a PS4 Pro?
No.
Right?
No, I have a PS4 plebeian.
Or an Xbox Series X or anything, or a Series
I don't have that
Xbox
either.
One X.
I have an original Xbox. Although I'm sad, I used to have an Xbox 360 and I got rid of it because the other day I was at Goodwill, looking for Blu-rays, and somebody had just donated a bunch of Xbox 360 games, and I was like, man, there's a few here I would grab if I still had an Xbox 360. Which is funny because the last time I was at a different Goodwill, they had an Xbox 360. That was only it was like the slim one, like the one, that black one that came out later. It was slim, and it was only like $25, but it didn't come with a controller, and so I had no way of knowing if it worked. And I was like, I don't really need Xbox 360. So there's just a few games I miss playing on there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get one, if you just got one of the new ones, if you got like a Series X or something that has,
I know,
a disc player, because then you could just play a lot of the must play games on that anyway.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, I'm not really in the market for any more game consoles. I have most of them at this point. So, but yeah, anyway, so I've just been buying up a lot of Blu-rays and stuff, and I signed up. This is gonna make me sound like I'm trying to be some kind of wannabe like film snob or something, but you do you. But like I mentioned before we started, I've been trying to like kind of pare down my streaming services.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have HBO Max, but it comes free with my home internet, so I'm not even paying for that one.
Right.
I might even cancel YouTube TV because I just feel like I'm not using it, and it's up to like $85 a month now.
Yeah.
But I signed up for the Criterion Channel.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like because I feel like of all of the major streaming services, I feel like HBO Max or whatever has the best catalog of movies. Because there's not really,
as long as they stay on there, they've been taking stuff off and scrapping it, but that's not letting you watch it any other way. Also,
yeah, well, I mean, they're all doing that, I guess. But I mean, that's why I prefer Blu-rays. But I'm saying, if you have HBO Max and Criterion, I just feel like between those two, there's so many awesome movies, and I really like having the Criterion Channel. Because I mean, those are all like, not all, but it's mostly like either foreign films or like art house films. Like a lot of stuff I've never even heard of, And so I'll just like throw something on. Oh, and you'll like this. If you have the Criterion Channel, they have a thing where it just streams movies 24 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you just put it on and you don't know what you're going to jump into the middle of. But you can't even pause it. It's like live TV, except there's no ads. So you just like run it in the background. So that's pretty neat. But I've been watching some cool movies on there. But
yeah, do they have Repo Man on there?
They don't, but I have it on my list because there's a Criterion Blu-ray. It's actually in my Amazon shopping cart right now because somebody gave me a $50 Amazon gift certificate for my birthday, and there's a lot of Criterion stuff on Amazon, and it's always pretty competitively priced. So I think right now I have my Amazon shopping cart is Repo Man on Blu-ray. And the first issue of the EC Comics Crime Suspense Stories collection, which is like a graphic. I love the old EC Comics, like Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they had one that was crime suspense stories, and it was like, it's like pulp,
and it's just like a big book full of different issues.
Well, yeah, I mean, a while back they released like some hardcover, like you could get like this hardcover book with like the first 10 issues of Tales from the Crypt, but I don't like reading hardcover books. And lately they've been doing a different thing where it's like $20 per issue or whatever, and it's a soft cover. It's like the size of a graphic novel, and it has 6 issues of the comic book in it. So like volume 1 is issues 1 through 6, then volume 2 is like 7 through 12.
I see.
And they're only $20, and they come out just every once in a while, so you just buy one when it comes out. So I've been doing that. But when I was a kid, I loved like Tales from the Crypt and The Haunt of Fear. But like shock suspense stories or crime suspense stories are also really good, because it's all like, if you ever watch like old noir films, it's like that's what these are. It's like some guy murders his wife to be with the mistress, and then they get caught or whatever. It's just, they're fun to read.
Yeah. I'll be, if you get a chance to watch Repo Man, when you buy it,
I'm definitely going to watch Repo Man. And before you even say anything, because I know where you're headed, Real Genius is on my Blu-ray list. I've been
good.
Every time I go into a store, I look for it. I just haven't found it yet.
Okay.
Well, I know I can just buy it on Amazon, but I'm just trying to buy.
But I could let you use my.
No, I don't want
my Fandango at home
negative
account.
I don't like sharing passwords with people. I'll find it. Yeah. Relax.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd been a long time since I've seen Repo Man, and I bought the 4K of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a weirdly bizarre movie that it's a lot funnier than.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it yet, so don't ruin it for me.
So.
But I mean, half the reason I want to watch it is just because of Harry Dean Stanton. So
yeah,
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's just a weird movie. You mentioned the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the bike, being about the bike.
Yeah.
So I've been teaching my son how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
And he's like so close. The training wheels just came off, and we went down to the parking lot the other day, and he is so close.
Yeah.
To just, it just like clicks in, right? It's just like that. The learning how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
It's such a thing that once you know how to do it, there's just like, you could just do it. And a lot of times it's very hard for me to think back to how it must feel to not know how to ride a bike.
Yeah. It'd be like not knowing how to swim or something.
Right. But even worse, I think, or just even more of a challenge, because it seems almost impossible. But, I have known how to ride a bike for 40 years. I can't remember.
The thing with riding a bike is that the bike rides itself. Like, you don't have to do anything really. It's not like, but you don't think that. You think that you have to maintain balance. Because if you think, the whole concept of how a bike works sounds pretty unbelievable, right? Like, we all take it for granted. We get on a bike and it just stays up on its own and you can go. But like, you don't know that when you're a kid, and you think like, I have to like balance. And so you're worried about falling. And so it's just a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Like, the kid has to get convinced that if the bike is going, it's not going to fall over. And it's like a mental barrier that every kid has to go through. Because you can't, even as an adult and a scientist, I don't really wrap my brain around like, how does a bike work? Like, it just works. It's like gravity. I don't really get it, but it's working out pretty good. So
yeah. It's teaching him to do this we've tried many times, and he would always get really afraid of going too fast.
Yeah.
And I said, all you need to do is just put your feet down. You're not going that very fast.
Yeah.
You just put your feet down, or, kids' bikes, you jam the pedals backwards, and that's the brake.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of days where we go to the bottom of the cul-de-sac that we live on and go around like around the sidewalks and cut across the road and stuff, just around in circles. And he had training wheels on, and he was just so afraid to go fast. And I said, listen, let's just go for a little bit, and then as soon as I say it, you just jam on the brakes.
Yeah.
Just to get a feel of like how quickly you can do that.
Yeah.
And once we did that, then we went back to the house. We came out the next day, and we started going around. And eventually, it was just like a switch clicked, and he was he's like, oh, actually, it's pretty fun to go fast.
Yeah.
So we're going around, and I'm like, I said, you are basically riding, your training wheels are barely even touching the ground.
Yeah.
You just have it. And so I said, okay, let's take them off and do it like down at the parking lot.
Yeah.
And the tough part about that is like, I want to like kind of guide him a little bit, but I think if I feel him like leaning one way, like he'll like kind of lean into my hands.
Yep.
And I'm like, don't like balance off me. Don't use me.
Yeah.
And it's just a hard thing to,
because
hard mental block.
Because they think that they think they have to balance. Like I said, it's a mental barrier. It's funny because I remember when my dad was trying to teach me how to ride a bike. So first of all, let me just say, I'm anti-training wheels. Like, I think training wheels are the worst.
Okay.
My neighbors had a little boy.
Most people use balance bikes now.
Yeah, that's what, I didn't know what it was called, but my neighbors had a little boy, and he had a bike that just didn't have pedals, which I assume is what you're talking about. And you just sit low enough that you just use your feet, kind of like Fred Flintstone, except you're on a bike. And he would just do that and then just lift his feet up and just glide, right? Because then he just figured out, and so then the step from that to a bike is like no big deal, right? So I like that. I like that better anyway. But
we had borrowed a balance bike from our friends.
Yeah.
And he just like had a mental block of he didn't want to be on it because it was pink.
Oh, well, great. That feeds into my story. So, so my dad had got me like this BMX bike, but it had training wheels.
Was it a Huffy?
No, I remember it saying BMX on it, which doesn't sound right. But I remember it was blue. I don't know. Anyway, he got me this bike, it had training wheels on it, and he was really like pushing to get me to learn how to ride this bike when I really wasn't even that interested. And, I said, I have the training wheels on it. And then he'd be like, and this is the worst thing he did. I remember him being like, well, how about if we just take one of the training wheels off? Which is like, that's not, you either have both or none, But I just never got into it. I just didn't want to do it. I think he was kind of disappointed even. But what was funny is then like one weekend, like he and my stepmom went out of town and like left me at home. I was like 9 or 10. And he had left me home, and then I think like he went out of town, like they went out of town with friends of theirs that also had kids that were like the daughter was my age and the son was a little bit younger, and they left, the three of us were in the house, and then they had somebody stay with us so that there was an adult,
Okay.
But so it was us three kids and some adult, and the girl, Angie, who's my age, she had like the strawberry shortcake bike. Oh. And like I said, I didn't know how to ride a bike, but like that weekend I learned how to ride a bike because I just took her bike. Like she just was here, let's get on my bike. And like, I just used her bike and just taught myself because I didn't have any adult. I'm not saying you're doing that, but like my dad was kind of doing that, like being kind of pushy. And so like, I just kind of could do it at my own pace, and it didn't have training wheels because it was just, she knew how to ride a bike. But it was a girl's bike, so it was a little bit smaller, I think, which maybe helped. Because I think maybe I was kind of Fred Flintstoning it a little bit, and then I would start pedaling. But as soon as I remember, it was like, because it's all a mental barrier, like I said. And I kind of had that breakthrough of like, oh, the bike just stays up by itself. And then I was just tearing around the neighborhood on her strawberry shortcake bike.
So maybe I just need to take him down there and bring the balance bike. Just be like, listen, nobody's around.
Yeah.
Just ride it around in circles. Just get a feel for it, because you can put your feet on the ground very easily, and he can with the bike that he has. Like I had to bring up the seat and bring up the handlebars, but I could probably achieve the same thing by just taking the actual pedals off of.
That's true. You could do that if you have a pedal wrench,
and they probably just screw right off. I bet.
Maybe.
I bet they're really
some
easy
of them.
to
Some of them need a
attach.
pedal wrench. I don't know what a kid's bike is like though. So.
Yeah. I should try that and just.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
Then he has to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about it hitting his legs or anything like that.
I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, don't take what I said as like I'm not trying to tell you how to parent.
No, it makes
I'm
sense
just
to me.
relaying
It's
my
just
personal experience.
And I think that it gets to a point where I don't even need to like hold his seat or anything like that. I don't want him to have to rely on me. All he needs to just do and
what if you let him ride on
that center of gravity of himself?
Could he ride on the grass?
No. I mean, we
not?
could, but I don't know. It seems like it would be harder.
Well, I mean, you'd have to push harder, but I mean, then if you fall over, it doesn't hurt, I only bring that up
over either.
I only bring that up because like when, my wife and I used to go road cycling together, and I always use the clipless pedals, like they're called clipless pedals, but you clip into them. So it's a stupid name, but I have the special shoes that clip in. And so your feet are like locked onto the pedals,
Yeah.
And I wanted to get my wife some, but she was kind of having the same, like she was scared, like I don't want my feet like locked into the pedals, but at the same time I wasn't like trying to get her. she wanted them, but then she was kind of like apprehensive about using them because, you have to like when you come to a stop sign, you can't lift your foot off. You have to like twist your foot out. It's a separate motion. And like, if you don't get yourself in the habit of doing that, then you're going to crash your bike because you only have a split second sometimes if something happens, And so I taught her how to use her clipless pedals in a park where, she could just fall over and it didn't matter,
Yeah. Well, how long did it take her to learn how to do that?
Oh, I finally had to put her regular pedals back on her bike because she gave up. Because she would just like, if she had to stop all of a sudden for, some reason, she would try to lift her. She was just too used to just having regular bike pedals and she would try to lift her feet up or like, even if she came to like a stop sign, I don't know. It's like she couldn't get her foot out fast enough. Like she fell over on her bike a couple times. And so she's just like, I don't want these anymore. And I was like, yep, no problem. I just put her regular, I mean, she tried. Yeah. She just, they're not for her, But my point was just being on the grass, at least that way she could do it without being afraid of falling.
Maybe
in that
would
moment.
be like less scary. Yeah. That's true. I just think he's so close. And I think that it's just going to take us one more time to go down there.
That'd be great.
And just do it.
Yeah.
It might be today, but maybe it won't be. I feel like I need to mow the lawn.
Keep me updated.
Yeah, because I said, he's going to his grandparents tomorrow and staying for a week. And I said, well, if you learn how to ride a bike, maybe they'll take you shopping for a new bike because the bike that he has now is something we just got at a garage sale.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, it's a Huffy BMX.
There's nothing wrong with a Huffy.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And it's great. It's been great for what we've used it for. It took me a little while to it was kind of rusted, and I had to do a little work to make it so that I could lift up the handlebars because he was having a problem where he was turning, and I could lift up his seat, but his handlebars are still low, so his handlebars would hit his knees when he was like turning or something. But now it's so much better. But I said, well, maybe if you learn how to ride it, they'll take you shopping, and because going on bike rides like with my family is something that I want to do so badly.
Yeah.
And we were able to do it for a long time, like after my daughter learned how to ride a bike, because we had one of those trailer things like where it's like a bike, but it's just like connected to the back of my bike.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's just like it's one wheel or whatever on it, but that was fine, but it wasn't very. It was just really hard to go up hills with something like that.
I can imagine, yeah.
But I said, you learn how to do this. We can like ride down and get ice cream and go over to the park from there. there's something about having that freedom, I think, that comes with learning how to ride a bike. Suddenly you have this sense of freedom and exploration that you might not have before.
Yeah.
And I know that things are really, really different now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember just when I would go on bike rides with my friends, we'd be gone all day.
Yeah, I'd ride all over town.
Yeah. And who knows, you know, like
I'd
where
ride 5 miles away to go to a comic book store when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah. And just having the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And it not even be a thing. You know, it wouldn't be, I don't think that something like that wouldn't go over so well now. Or maybe he would need to have, at least with, like I gave him my old Apple Watch and I can track where he is.
Yeah.
In situations like that, which is good. But I don't know. That's just something I want to do so badly, and
yeah,
we're so close. We're so close.
Yeah. Well,
I sort of feel like I need to get a new bike myself.
Yeah.
Because I bought a bike from a friend, and I've had that bike for, I want to say like 15 years now.
Yeah.
So it's probably about time for me to get a new bike.
Yeah, get a new bike. I mean, I don't know what kind of bike you like, but
well, I don't know either.
I mean, I have my work bike. I have a bike in my office at work that I take out if I need to ride around campus, you know, because it's a big campus, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like a old, like I was always like a fanboy of the bike brand Specialized, you know, Specialized bikes.
I don't know anything about.
All right,
whatever.
They're like one of the brands. They make like road bikes and mountain bikes and stuff, you know. But they're the kind
they have
you
like
get those
the thicker wheels.
Well, it depends. They have different bikes, you know. But I'm saying that's the kind of bike you go buy at like a bike shop, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a higher end brand, not super, you know, whatever. But anyway, there's like 1 year in the 90s where they made a beach cruiser. And so I bought one and I still have it because it's pretty light. It's a single speed.
And the beach cruiser is like
it's got
like
kind of,
handlebars,
I mean, it doesn't have huge handlebars, mine, although I could change it if I wanted to, but it's got like sort of big, you know, it's just you sit upright. I've got like a nice leather seat on it with springs in it and stuff. And like, you know, it's perfect.
Is that your main bike?
Well, it's my work bike.
Oh, all right. So you ride that. Wait, when you say work bike, what do you mean?
I mean, it's in my office at work.
I see.
And when I'm going anywhere on campus, like the university campus where I work is big, you know. And so if I'm going somewhere far away on campus, I have a bike. Or if I want to go downtown Davis to, like, for instance, if I was visiting Armadillo Music, 207 F Street in downtown Davis, I might ride my bike there, take it out of my office, or go to the post office to pick up a package, you know.
That's cool. I just never thought about.
I mean, I wish I had it at home so I could ride it to the store and whatnot, but you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like I don't have bikes here at home, but I just have road bikes here at home, which is not comfortable for
just cruising
casual
around,
cruising.
Going from building to building.
We have like a small garage, so it's like there's barely room for, like, my wife's got like 2 bikes in there, and then my car, and then all of our other crap, and so I don't want to buy more bikes.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
My real point in bringing any of that up was just saying, like, you should, you know, look at beach cruisers because they're comfortable and fun to ride, but I know it's hillier where you live than where I live, so that might not. Although they make some that have gears, you know, but.
Yeah, I would probably not get a beach cruiser. That would be cool. I think that's something that my wife would want to get.
Yeah.
She'd appreciate something like that more because my daughter's bike is probably too small for her now.
Yeah.
So she could probably ride my wife's current bike.
Well, there you go.
And then my wife could get a new one.
There you go.
And then maybe we could give my bike to my son eventually. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun. That's very cool that you get to ride a bike around campus like that.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if you ever came to visit, then, you know, you could.
I know. Like I said, I was very close to going.
Yeah.
To San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't have as much time as I think that I would probably.
No, you need to come out here for like a few days at least. You know, we can go hiking and
go see a show. Hey, how was that that Kraftwerk show that you went to?
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Is that your first time seeing him, right?
Yeah, because we had tickets to go see him, and then COVID happened, and then the show got canceled, and we just got a refund. And then they came and did a makeup show, and we didn't know. And so I was just really bummed out. But then I saw that they were going on tour again, and they were going to the Greek Theater in Berkeley, which is has become like my favorite place to. That's where I saw Death Cab and Postal Service the first time.
Right.
Was at the Greek. It's just a really cool outdoor venue. And so, when Kraftwerk was coming there, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So, but I mean, I have like a Blu-ray concert Blu-ray of theirs, and, I've watched live stuff of theirs on YouTube. So, I mean, I kind of knew what to expect, So, but it was just a really good show. They played a couple songs that I would not have expected that were really cool. Because I feel like when they have a concert, and it's pretty much like all of their I can't call them greatest hits because they really only ever had one song that I would say was like a commercial hit. But they have sort of a standard playlist, I would say. Like the order might change, but it's like these are all their big songs for anybody that's even remotely a Kraftwerk fan. Yeah. And so you're going to hear those. And then they played like one or two other songs where I would not have expected, and I would say it was like a pleasant surprise to have that too. So and there was no opening act, which I also sometimes. So
that means that they played for a lot longer then?
No, I wouldn't say that. It was like they played for maybe like 2 hours at most.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, they played everything that I think anybody would reasonably expect them to play. It's not like the show was over and you were like, hey, wait a minute, you didn't play whatever, So it's just that's how long the show is. So, but no, I had a great time. I have no complaints. So
yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I realized, you shared some photos on social about it, and then I didn't really follow up on it. I told you before we started recording that I'm going to see Ben Folds tonight, who's playing a free show here in Cincinnati. Yeah. So it's just gonna walk over and take the kids. Yeah. Who are just like,
especially if it's walking
I don't know who
distance,
that is. Yeah, exactly. The fact that we could just walk over should be cool. And then there's like a drone show afterwards, apparently.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. They opened a new live music venue over here in Sacramento. It's called Channel something. It's a weird name for a venue. It's called Channel 24 or something like that, which I don't understand where. Maybe it's on 24th Street or something. That would make sense, I guess. I don't know. But when it opened, they announced, okay, there's all these shows coming, and then they opened up ticket sales, and I was excited because Death Cab's playing there. But I tried to get pre-sale tickets, and I couldn't get them, and I tried to get regular sale tickets, and I couldn't get them.
Really? So they're just selling out. And this would be not them just playing an entire album.
This would be a regular show. That's why. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone if it was just more, because I didn't really. When I went and saw him the second time in Portland, I don't know. The Greek Theater was just so much better, And so I wouldn't really have been interested in seeing them a third time doing the same show. But if this is just them doing a normal Death Cab show playing stuff from all their albums, then it would have been cool. Yeah. And I mean, you can buy, there's of course now third-party tickets for sale on Ticketmaster, but it's like at least $100 a seat. And they're not a huge ripoff, but it's way higher than, face value for the tickets.
Yeah.
So,
and obviously those are probably selling for a lot more, or selling out faster than them playing like just the Postal Service. And
it seems like it, because I don't feel like those tickets didn't sell out like immediately. Like I think the shows ended up being sellouts, but it's not like I had to get in there and get the ticket right away or I was hosed. But I think it's a small venue, because I mean, even the Kraftwerk tickets, like I got those at pre-sale, and that show sold out, but I was able to easily get tickets, like just being, I logged in Ticketmaster at 10 a.m. or whatever, and like I got really good seats. But I guess the demand for those Death Cab tickets was just way higher. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, Kraftwerk's a pretty, for as influential of an act as they themselves are a little bit more esoteric, I think,
Yeah.
They have their hardcore fan base, but I don't think there's really such a thing as like a casual. It'd be like being a casual Devo fan. Like you either really like Devo or it's like, oh, that's that band that had Whip It.
Yeah, which is pretty much me.
Yeah.
So
that was the other thing I found on my that was my birthday gift from the universe. Is like I said, I went to that Amoeba in San Francisco, and I ended up, I found a stack of movies. But I have, so on my phone, like I have like the Notes app, the iCloud Notes app, and I have one like note thing. These are all the CDs I'm looking for, and then I have another one that these are all the movies I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And so when I go to a place like Amoeba, I check both. Like, okay, I'm done looking at movies. Let me go check for these albums I'm looking for. And it's really just CDs. Like it's pretty rare I buy anything on vinyl anymore. I have enough of that, but I also only have one place in my house I can listen to vinyl. Like upstairs, I only have CD. So, anyway, there's a Mark Mothersbaugh. Well, there's two Mark Mothersbaugh albums that I've been looking for like forever because they're really hard to find because they just got released in real limited quantities back in the 90s. And the Amoeba had one of them.
Oh,
and it wasn't.
Was it expensive?
Well, I mean, it was a used CD and it was $25. So I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not like it was $100 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pay a lot more than that for that CD on eBay. So I was more than happy to grab it. So, but I was very excited to get that.
I don't know if we talked about this on previous episodes or not, but you ever watch Amoeba's like their YouTube channel? Where they have What's in My Bag?
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
No, I don't think
on
so.
here.
Okay, I don't recall.
I was talking to somebody else about how I'd never really seen it, and then there's a really good one with Bill Hader.
Yeah, I might have seen that one, although I don't know. It's kind of like the Amoeba for the folks at home, not for you. For the folks at home, it's very similar to like the Criterion Closet videos on Criterion's YouTube channel. It's the same thing. It's like people go to the Criterion Closet and pick out movies and talk about them. People go to Amoeba and pick out a bunch of albums and talk about them. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, or I mean, it's not always just albums. It can be like anything that they find there.
Yeah,
I guess.
True.
It's just like what's in my bag.
Yes,
but there's a really good one with Bill Hader. If you've seen it.
No, because now that I think about it, I think I watched his Criterion Closet video. I don't think I've seen his Amoeba. What's in my? So I'll watch it though, because I love watching those. I watched Mark Mothersbaugh's.
Yeah,
he has both. Like him and Gerald Casale from Devo were in the Criterion Closet, and then also Mark Mothersbaugh.
Yeah, because I mean, Mark Mothersbaugh, he's done like so much like film scoring.
Yeah, and TV. He did Rugrats.
Oh,
in fact,
I did not know
that the CD that I bought that I've been looking for forever. Music for Insomniacs Volume 1. There's a song on there that I forgot the guy's name, but like the creator of Rugrats, like he had that album, and it was a song on there that he wanted to use as the theme song for Rugrats. And so he asked Mark Mothersbaugh, hey, can I use this song for Rugrats? And then Mark Mothersbaugh was like, well, what if I just wrote you like new music instead? Just like that's pretty. Oh yeah, I didn't think that was an option. Write me a whole new song. So, but it's because of that. It's because of that CD. I've never seen Rugrats. I'm a little bit too old for that, but, yeah.
So here's the thing, just speaking, like talking on music and stuff. I've talked about before that I would like to learn guitar. I know that somebody once sent me a very long email, like explaining, hey, here's some good ways to like learn guitar. And I've looked at thrift stores and stuff, and I just haven't gotten one.
Well, what about that pawn shop you like going to where the lady has a secret crush on you?
I don't think she's there anymore. She's not there anymore.
Oh well, all right.
But either way, so here's the thing: like we've recently kind of become good friends with our 30-year-old neighbors that live across the street. They have a couple of dogs, and then they really like our dog. So they've like started out, like we talked to them if we just like walk past them like on the street before, but like we just like become better friends with them over time, and then they started like.
Is that the people that you gave a bunch of video games to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they our dog has gone there like when we've had to go away for a couple days, and and they've like taken good care of her. Anyways, we were on a walk with them the other day, and the girl Katie is learning guitar, and she's like, "Oh, So here's the thing, I didn't realize this was even a thing until she told me. She's like, I've been learning at the School of Rock. Like, the movie School of Rock, but like they actually have places where, so they have a program at School of Rock for adults, and you go there and you learn, and then you play a show with the other adults in your class.
That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. And I was like, that sounds amazing. You take some lessons, you kind of go in with like kind of a little bit of a base knowledge.
Yeah.
And then everybody like learns these songs, and then they have like different themes. Like their theme, like she like has been learning, like taking lessons, and then joined the School of Rock and is like playing a show. And like the theme is like Fleetwood Mac. And they all like play like a whole show of like different Fleetwood Mac songs. Which sounds amazing, right? It just sounds like really, really cool.
Yeah, you should.
So
do
she's
that.
she's like, I just got an electric guitar, so if you want to borrow my acoustic guitar to like learn on, and then she's like, and then next program, the next adult program starts in August, and I'm like, well, that sounds. It sounds a lot more appealing if you have this end goal of learning this, and it kind of puts the pressure on to like learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go up on stage and like not know how to play this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's this dual like lighting a fire under you to like learn this. So I'm going to borrow this guitar and I'm going to start learning, and we'll see what happens how I feel when August rolls around, and maybe
I highly support this idea.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it just sound fun?
Yes.
Doesn't it just sound fun to get out there and to have a group of people to play songs with, and then you
can all start a band because you all came together out of the class, and so then you're like, hey, we should still hang out and play music together. Next thing you know, you're a band and you're playing at the local brewery on the weekends, and be awesome.
Maybe, yeah.
You could play Wagon Wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, it's a great song, a timeless song.
Yeah.
It's one of the songs. It's one of the effing songs.
Yeah.
That is on everything. So that is in my future, is I'm going to acquire that guitar within the next week.
All right.
Well,
I'm excited
I'll go down
by proxy or whatever.
Yeah.
For you for this.
Well, you should see if there's a School of Rock near you, and that might be a good way to.
I know there's one in Berkeley because it's across the street from like a place I go drink beer, but that's not really that close. So.
But you should see if they have an adult thing, and it's once a week. Everyone meets like once a week for 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a huge commitment.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Let me write that down.
Yeah. So as soon as I heard that, though, I said, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like exactly what I would want to do and what I would need to enjoy something like that."
Yeah.
Where you're not just like learning in a vacuum.
Yeah, it's pretty pointless or aimless. That's what I do. I just sit there and learn songs for fun. But like, I kind of switched to just playing bass, since now I learn songs on bass, but I have no one to play with. And it's kind of like, it's like learning a language because you think it's neat, but you have nobody to talk to in that language. Right. You're just going to end up forgetting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why the School of Rock thing sounds great. That's a good idea. If it was Jack Black or whoever that came up with that idea, very good idea.
Yeah. And especially for adults, because I think a lot of adults feel once they pass a certain age. I mean, I know I certainly feel like this about a lot of stuff where you think like, oh, I've missed my chance to learn this thing.
Oh, that's
and to do anything with it.
I mean, I just took up golfing, for the love of God. I got paired up. I golfed yesterday. No joke, I got paired up with a 12-year-old. It was great.
Were they really good?
Well, so it was me and my son, and then this pair of brothers. And the older brother was like high school age, and I could tell because he had a golf bag that had like he's on his high school golf team because his golf bag said like, Dixon High, whatever on it, because he lives over in Dixon. and he had his little brother. And so the older kid, I mean, he's probably like, I'm going to say he was 17. I don't know. He had a beautiful golf swing. I was like, oh my God, I would kill, to be 17 years old and already be that good. And it was funny because when we all got to the first tee, the little kid, he's like I said, he's like 12 years old. He's like, oh, you guys can go just play ahead of us. I'm just starting. I'm not any good, And me and my son were like, dude, don't even worry about it. We're not good either, Plus, you're not supposed to do that because tee times are, separated out. You're not supposed to break off and play by yourself, or you're jamming up the works. Create a traffic jam. But I was like, whatever, dude. I don't care. You're no good. That's cool. He was a cool.
It's about hanging out.
He was a cool little kid. Like I don't like being paired up with strangers. Because it's like Russian roulette, and every once in a while you get someone who's crazy or someone who's just an issue. Like, listen, I'm just here to play golf. You're here to play golf. Let's just play golf. I don't want to deal with your BS, And so we'd play a couple holes, and I told Sherrod, because we were kind of walking a little bit separately from them. I'm like, dude, this is way better. Like being paired with kids, way better than being paired with adults.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I'm 48. I just started last year, and this kid's 12. He just started. What's the difference,
Exactly. And everyone's just there to hang out and have a good time.
I'll tell you, that kid was really, really bad, But I could already tell. I told Sherrod, I said, for being 12 and just starting, he already had like the fundamentals of like a really good golf. And he had his brother was like teaching him stuff while they're out there. I'm like, that kid's going to end up being really good at golf,
I mean, did you give him any pointers too?
No, that's like bad etiquette. Like you shouldn't give people pointers on the course unless somebody asks specifically, like sometimes Sherrod will be like, hey, do you think I did this or that? And then you can say, but otherwise it's like really bad golf etiquette to do that, even to somebody Like it was different with the two brothers. I think that's he's literally the older brother is teaching the younger brother to play golf, so that's fine. But for me to interject and tell the kid anything, that would be like super rude.
Yeah.
So I said, even sometimes I wanted to, but I was just like, zip it. So yeah. But we didn't. I didn't treat him like he was a kid. We just treated each other like we're out here playing. He'd tell me, "Oh, great shot, nice putt." I do the same thing for him.
Yeah.
Although one time I just yelled, like he took this one shot, and I just yelled, "Dude!" Because it was like the ninth hole. So we've been playing for a while, and he takes this tee shot. He has like his little driver, and he takes this tee shot and just smokes it down the fairway. And it was just like, man, it was just a very, very good shot. I was excited.
So that's everyone tries to be quiet.
Yeah, but I just lost my cool because I was like, dude, that was very, very good. Like,
and he probably appreciated that.
He outdrove me on that hole.
Yeah,
like that's not saying much. I'm not good at golf, but
it's supportive. It's not just
no. It was a very supportive dude. Yeah. Like, he was a cool little kid.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's just fun to.
But the moral of the story, as I'm saying, is that like, in amongst our group, like age, because I'm like 48, my son's like 24, 23, 24. The older kid was like 17, the younger kid was like 12. But we're all out there as equals, just playing golf, And you should feel the same way about, learning guitar.
Anything new you want to learn.
Yeah, just do it. Like like my mom has that kind of attitude of like, oh, I'm too old for this, I'm too old for that, and it's just the kind of thing I look at and I think I don't ever want to get like that,
Yeah. I don't feel like that, but I feel as though it would be easy to feel that way, to talk yourself out of something.
Yeah, but I don't ever feel my age anyway. Like I don't feel like, oh, I'm 48. Like I just feel like I'm just like an adult. Like, I don't feel any different than, like, when I was 30. Like, sometimes I'm a little bit more sore because I'm a little bit older, but I don't think I ever mentally feel like, oh, I'm old. Which is crazy because I work around a lot of really young people, which you could think, I think that's like a glass half full, glass half empty kind of thing. Like, instead of me working around a bunch of people in their 20s, instead of that making me feel old, it actually makes me feel young. Because they don't treat me like I'm old. They just treat me like we're all just equals. And so I just, and everybody at work likes me. So, it helps me feel young.
Speaking of feeling pain.
Oh, no.
It's so dumb because I've seen a doctor about it and everything. And I've been doing exercises.
One of your testicles is
it's
swelling
about the size
up.
of a grapefruit.
Yeah, that's not usually good.
Yeah, it's very obvious too.
Yeah.
I don't have a pair of shorts that does not. It does not.
Yeah,
make
you
it look
told me
awful.
that like the bag boy at the grocery store was like, "Man, you're packing some heat down there," and you're like, "No, it's not that. One of my balls is the size of a grapefruit because I got a thing going on."
Yeah. I got a thing going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's been like this for 2-3 months. I haven't seen a doctor or anything yet. It's just hoping it'd just get better
Yeah.
on its own. No. So back in February, I had to use a fairly heavy camera at work. I don't know if I talked about this. I definitely talked about it on our live stream.
Sound familiar?
So I used this heavy camera, a big red camera, and I had to hold it in place.
Why is its color important?
What's that?
Why is its color important?
No, that's like the brand red camera.
I was
just like
joking.
that's just okay.
Yeah. I know,
but it was
very
like a big
fancy,
heavy
I know.
camera,
Yeah.
and I had to hold it in place for a presentation.
You guys don't
to
have
film it.
tripods or?
Well, the thing is, so I was just holding it because we were in a rush. And I had to like get it out and just like film this one thing, and then after that, we took it and we put it on like a big gimbal, and I used it on it's like an over the back.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Steadicam type thing.
yeah.
But I had to rush out and film this one thing. And I was just sitting there and holding it like this, right?
Like
So I
how
could
much
film
would
this,
you estimate that it weighs?
I don't know, maybe like 80 pounds.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. But I was holding it like this, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like locked in, and I held it there for probably 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah.
Oh, my
like
God.
under an hour, but like
That's a
close to an
long
hour,
time
but
to stand there holding something that weighs 80 pounds.
I was sitting. It was on my lap.
I would have
but
given
had
my
to, like,
2
kinda-
weeks notice. Oh, you were sitting.
I was sitting, but I had to angle it upwards a little bit, so I was like holding
Okay.
like the
All right. Well, that's
top
not
of it.
that's not as bad, but it's still
and it was
uncomfortable.
So it was, I had to hold it in place though.
Yes.
And then, like the rest of that day and the next day I was using like a Steadicam. It was like a cage that goes on you, and then it has like a thing that goes over your head and is like holds it, suspends it in air.
How
So
much
that
does
was
that
fine.
whole thing weigh? Would you?
I don't know.
A lot, though,
I don't
right?
know.
I mean,
It's
isn't
just
that
like
pretty heavy
yeah,
of a
it's
thing
just
to
like,
have on you? I mean, that's like.
well, no, it's not on your shoulders, it's around your waist.
But
And
still.
it like latches in, and then
Okay.
it does it. It's just like but it, it just uses your core to like.
Yeah.
It is fine.
Okay.
And the day after, like my arm was like kind of hurting, and I thought it was just because of the, I thought it was just sore.
Yeah.
But then it like didn't go away for months, and it still has like not gone away. So I went to the doctor and saw the doctor, find out what was going on. It turns out it's tennis elbow.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been doing all these like exercises and stuff. It's still like not going away.
Yeah.
Like some days are worse than others. That's why I've been sitting here with this like
I was wondering.
little like gel thing, because
Yeah.
that just like works it, right?
Yeah.
And, like if I sleep on it, if I sleep with it too straight, then it hurts to like bend it in the morning. Or if I sleep with it like bent the whole time, then it hurts to like unbend it.
Yeah.
I just, it's been going on since February, and it's really starting to annoy me. A lot of people have said, oh, you can get rid of it by like doing the exercises, but also that if you like don't have any sugar in your diet, if you just like do like keto or something like that, like that makes it so that it is better too. And I'm like,
I mean, I'm a big fan of the keto diet, but I question whether or not it cures tennis elbow.
but it's just, it has not been good.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to
Sorry, I
get better,
wish I
because,
had
I
any,
have a water bottle, like, when I go take my dog for a walk
Yeah.
every morning, I have like a water bottle, and it even like hurts to like squeeze it.
Yeah.
Squeeze the water into my mouth. So that's why I've been sitting here with the whole time with this little
Yeah.
this thing called like it's called Nito.
Oh,
It's like
I don't know.
This is like the gumdrop one. This is
Oh,
I chose
well,
to
that's
get.
exciting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just been really painful, and I have not, it's the first thing that's like has made me feel like old man falling apart.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I mean, I had to take a break from golfing for like 3 weeks because I messed up my back. So I get where
really?
you're coming from. It's just like
Yeah.
stuff that wouldn't happen when I was young, but now it's like, if you're going to go do something like that, you got to stretch first. When you're a kid,
Yeah.
kids don't stretch,
Well, that's
They
what
don't
has me
need to.
thinking. I definitely want to at least one time go to the driving range this summer.
Yeah.
But I wonder if I can even do that with this.
I wouldn't, because you
know?
can get tennis elbow from golfing. So definitely swinging a golf club is going to irritate it. So I would wait for it to go away.
Okay.
Sorry for the bad
It's all right.
news.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But even just like, throwing the football and stuff. Like I love to throw the football with the kids. As someone who strangely like never liked throwing the football.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things to do is to go out to the side yard and throw the football.
No baseball?
My daughter is not really.
I was always more
just-
of a fan of playing catch with a baseball, but I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just something fun about just throwing a Nerf football.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We went to the pool yesterday and I brought like my little football.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of the other dads there, and he's like, remember the like those Nerf footballs that were like the spiral?
Yeah, sure. We had one of those when I was in college.
So he said, I was just like looking for one of those recently. They don't make them anymore, and they cost like $200 on eBay.
Of course they do.
Which is crazy to me because I feel like those things were everywhere, right?
But I also just feel that's the kind of thing where you'd go on Amazon and there'd be like 20 different brands that all were made in the same factory of that exact football.
Yeah, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just a thing.
I mean, that seems
I
like a
can't remember
clear
what they were
sign
called.
that Nerf should make them again. Like there must be demand if people are paying $200 for them.
Yeah, just like the foam football that are kind of like the spiral. And he's like, what made me think of it is like those always look like the ship from Flight of the Navigator.
That's true.
It's just
Where the
something
ship
like a
was
connection.
voiced by Paul Rubens.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Doing a Pee-wee-esque voice, right?
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
He does like the laugh, right? Doesn't he do like the laugh?
Yeah, a little bit. That was a good movie. That movie started my crush on Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, I forget that she's in that. But I watched that a few years ago with my kids, and I hadn't seen it since I was really little.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary the way that doesn't he like go to like an alternate reality where he died or something like that, or his parents are dead or something?
I don't recall that.
But he's just like on his own. And he has to like get back to like his real reality or go back to I have to watch it again because I remember it just kind of being scary.
Yeah, no, it's got some creepiness to it. I mean, for sure.
Well, I mean,
but
imagine
it's still a good movie,
falling down into a hole, climbing back out, and then you're like in a different reality, and everyone thinks you're dead.
Yes.
Or you just or you were never born or something like that.
No, it was that they thought he'd been kidnapped because he disappeared, and then he just reappears like
years later,
15 years later or something. Because like the beginning of the movie takes place in the 70s, and then the most of the movie takes place in then contemporary times, which is like the mid 80s. And so all of a sudden he reappears, but he's the same age he was when he disappeared. So everybody's just like, what the F? And that's how he ends up having
like no time had passed for him.
Right. And then remember at the end of the movie, he had, I forgot the ship's name. Like, like Paul Rubens' character had a name. I just forgot what it is. Like he takes him back in time, which was like risky because that's the whole reason he never did it in the first place was like the whole idea was something about humans, are fragile and I can't take you back in time. But, David was just like, I want to either do that or I'll take the risk because I don't like living like this. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a few actors in there that were like, noteworthy, right? Because wasn't like the head scientist guy at NASA, wasn't that the guy who was like Dr. Johnny Fever on WKRP? And then he was in Head of the Class. And then like
that was
I can't remember his
the teacher
name.
the teacher in Head of the Class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I never knew his name.
I remember like David's father. That actor I'd seen in some other stuff in the 80s. He was in one of my favorite movies, actually, FX.
Oh, yeah, with Brian Dennehy.
And Brian Brown. It was both Brians.
Brian and Brian?
Yeah. I have that. I have the two. I have like a Blu-ray double set with FX and FX2.
Yeah,
and I think I have
never
the TV
saw the second
series on. The second one's good. The first one's better, but the second one's still good.
Aren't they they're like special effects people, right?
Well, Brian Brown, he plays like a Hollywood special effects guy, and then Brian Dennehy's like a cop.
Okay.
In the first one, he's a cop, and the second one, he's like not a cop anymore. But I don't want to spoil it. But the second one's still really good.
Interesting. I mean, I remember my mom really liked it.
The second one's got that Rachel to Cotton chick, who I think wasn't. I'm pretty sure she was in Running Man. She was the chick that ran through the whole thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Wasn't she in that one?
Oh, what was her name? I don't remember.
I always get her confused with like
about.
Elizabeth Pena for some reason. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we get started talking about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, neither.
Maybe we need to tell people that they're listening to episode 60.
Is it? I don't have my freaking notebook, so I don't even know what episode this is. Episode 60. Wow. Who would have thought? That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we've like slipped into a groove of like releasing like 1 or 2 episodes a year now.
Well, it's not that bad, but I think we're a week late on this one, but it's not that big of a deal, you know? It's just like, you know, if an episode comes out, it's like a little gift for people. Hey, look what we made for you. It's like me with Weekend Rental at this point. Although, I have a lot of big plans for Weekend Rental. So, hey,
big plans.
Speaking of that, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you like video games or not, but
kinda.
And I don't know if you like this type of stuff, but I recently picked this up.
I've been wondering about that.
Atari 7800 Plus for the folks that are only listening. Like I remember
I got in my Amazon shopping cart for a while.
Well, here's what you should do. You know, there's that website Woot, WOOT, which I don't get this at all because Woot is owned by Amazon. So retail price of this thing is $129, and then generally on Amazon it's cheaper than that. But they also sell this on Woot. And I got this off of Woot for like $65.
Yeah, and it plays original cartridges too.
Well, that's the thing, and that's, you know, the only warning I would give people is it only plays cartridges.
Oh, there's no SD card slot or anything on it?
No. So just, you know, it's not like a flashback where it has a bunch of games built in. I mean, it came with a free game, but it's really only meant for people, and it doesn't really work with flash carts either. So, I mean, you have to have, if you're somebody that has an original collection of Atari 2600 and 7800 cartridges, I don't really understand what the difference is because there's a 2600 Plus and the 7800 Plus, and I know there's some minor software differences inside, but both of them are compatible with both 2600 and 7800 games. I already have a 2600, and so I thought it would be cooler aesthetically to have 7800. So
yeah, and especially since getting a real 7800 is unappealing because it's so huge, right? Isn't it?
That's the 5200 that's huge. 7800 is not too big, but I don't know. And then it came with you probably already know this, it comes with the European style controller instead of the
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Like I have
that's the European style controller.
What the heck is it? It was just here. Yeah,
so you're right.
Well, no, I have because I have the American style control, the original one, but it's not. I don't know where
it's not a joystick. It's a pad.
No, it's a
that looks
joystick,
like a pad,
but
it's
it's like an elongated thing. It's you can hold it and it has the little joystick.
Oh yeah. I'd rather not use that one. I'd rather use the other one.
I don't understand why it's. I might have taken it upstairs or something. I don't know.
Can you unscrew that little stick that's in the middle of the pad out of it?
Yes. In fact, that's how it comes. The little thumb thing comes in like a baggie. It's up to you if you want to put it on. And this is like a modern one, so this is wireless. It's got a battery inside of it, and then it comes with 2 dongles. Because the Atari 7800 Plus and 2600 Plus have normal joystick ports on them.
Yeah.
So you can use any old joystick with it. And so if you want to use the one that comes with it, you just use the 9-pin dongle, but then it also has a USB dongle, so you can use that with a computer, Raspberry Pi, Mistra, etc. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I also bought separately, I don't have it, but I bought the original Atari 2600
Mm-hmm.
joystick. They make a wireless version of that too. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, here's the system.
Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah, it's maybe 75% the size of an original one, I would guess.
Is it output 720p?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. But I've been
That's
really
cool. And they're releasing new games and stuff for it too.
Yeah.
Like I know there's a new port of like Tiger Heli.
Tiger
that just
Heli
came out.
Tiger Heli's coming out. Yeah, that's a brand new game. Like they're re-releasing a lot of old games, but then they're also like the game that comes with it is Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest, which was like a homebrew game that this guy there's this guy Bob DiCrescenzo who's like the godfather or whatever of like like he's like the main man when it comes to like homebrews and like sort of improvement hacks for 7800 games. And so he made Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest that used to be something you would just buy in the Atari Age store. But then now it got like officially released. And so like you can go
because now Atari Age is like officially sanctioned by Atari.
Yeah.
Like
well, I think they bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, whatever, that's fine. But so it came with Crystal Quest, which is that game's okay. And then I just ordered because it was on sale. I got Bounty Bob Strikes Back because that's a game that never originally came out for the 7800. It was a 5200 game. And it's like a really rare 5200 game.
Yeah.
I picked it up for like $22, so I'm just waiting for it. I think that's coming today, actually. But my point is just I've been having a really good time playing it. I got all my original Atari cartridges out. It's a shame. I used to have a bigger collection of Atari 2600 games than anything else. At the height of my game collection, because I would pick them up. You go to the flea market.
They're so cheap.
They were
probably.
like $1 or less.
Yeah.
And I got rid of most of them when the Harmony cart came out, because for original hardware, the Harmony cart works great, and so, but I've picked up, because there's a few games where like, oh, I shouldn't have sold that I've been able to kind of pick up at game stores for cheap. But I mean, I kind of kept, a small collection of 2600 games. I sold my copy of Tapper. So that's the one game that I'm really like, I wish I hadn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because that game's expensive now. So,
have you played the Atari 50 celebration game?
Yeah, so it's funny. I kept thinking like, oh, I need to pick that up. I should get that. I would. Yeah. I was kind of not annoyed, but they released like a updated version or expanded version. Yeah. But that one only came out for PS5, not for PS4, and I was kind of like, it kind of sucks, But I was like, whatever, I'll just get the Switch version, And then like I was going through my stuff, like just kind of cleaning up, and I was going through my Switch games, and at some point I bought it, and I just didn't remember buying it. It was just sitting on my shelf. What?
The expanded edition?
No, the original one.
Okay. So
but then you can just buy the DLC. Like, who cares? Yeah. But I have no memory of buying that game. I never even unwrapped it. I just stuck it on the shelf. And so I found it. I was like, oh, sweet. So I unwrapped it and was playing it the other day. And
it's amazing, right?
I mean, it's everything people say. It's like an interactive museum. Like it's it's all. I mean, I wish, obviously, like I can say, oh, it doesn't have this game, it doesn't have that game. I wish it had more games, but that's kind of not really the point. As sort of a whole historical, like interactive historical experience, and then there's games that you can just load them up and play them. It's very. I want to buy the DLC.
You should, because one of the DLCs has a bunch of homebrew stuff on it, which is kind of neat for those people that created this stuff, right? For it to be like included in something like this as a big part of the Atari game history, because I mean, it's pretty amazing. And, you're seeing like new games coming out for that now that there's still people making this stuff. Yeah. That they still are coming up with cool ideas for it.
Well, I also think that's one of the cool things about, because it's, I don't really talk about Atari stuff on my show because it's just like a lot of people are like, that's just too old. Like they don't want to go pre-NES, but I think one of the things that's really cool about the 2600 and the 7800 and some of the other older systems is that literally one person can create a game for it.
Yeah.
And not with like, with the NES, there's like that sort of game authorship software that you can get. And like, but I'm talking about with the Atari 2600, somebody is like programming the game in like assembly language,
Yeah.
But you can do that all as one person. And I think that's really neat. So that's why you have like sort of this constant stream of homebrew still coming out because, that's
It's
just somebody's hobby,
or
whatever.
Yeah.
And I
think they think it's really fun.
And, most of the game, I'm not trying to, be negative, but, a lot of the games that come out are just really like very derivative of other games, or it's like, it's Breakout, but it's like my own version of Breakout. And you're like, that's cool, but it seems more like something somebody was doing as like an exercise to see if they could do it. But so, but sometimes you get games that get released that are really like a completely original idea. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome. Or even like, this was a bunch of years ago, but somebody came out with like I forgot what's the game called? Stratogems. And it's columns. Okay. It's just columns, but it's for the Atari 2600. And it looks like it looks and runs like really, really good.
Yeah.
Like you're like, wow, this is the Atari 2600. This is, because some of the stuff some of the really old games in the Atari look really primitive, but as is the case with all systems, the more time goes by, the more people figure out how to, take advantage of the hardware in ways that you can make things look better and play better than you thought was possible. And, I don't know why I'm picking on Stratagems. I'm just saying it's a very, very impressive game.
Yeah, you're not picking on it; you're commending them.
No, I thought some of the games that were included on that Atari 50 collection, where I was kind of surprised they were there.
Yeah,
because some of them are a little bit more like esoteric, but I was really happy. This is a game that actually just got announced that's coming out for the Atari, the Plus systems. I think next month is a game called Dark Chambers. That I'm going to order. I want to get it. I really like Dark Chambers. I actually was going to do it. Whenever it comes, I was going to do a weekend rental episode about it. But it's on that Atari 50 collection because it did.
Oh.
It's not a new game. Like it came out back in the day, but it's, if you want to buy a copy now, it's like $50 or $60. But it's interesting because some people like criticize it. Like, oh, this is like a Gauntlet ripoff. But what's interesting is like there was this game for Atari home computer called Dandy, like Dandy, Dandy. Because it was like a play on D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons. Because this guy made this sort of dungeon crawler kind of game that, had like monster generators in it. And it was like a maze and you had to get keys and open doors. And he released it for Atari home computer and it was called Dandy. And then Atari Arcade Division made Gauntlet. And the guy that made Dandy sued him and they had to settle out of court because they ripped off Dandy. Like if you play, and then Dandy got released on Atari 7800 and they called it Dark Chambers. But it's funny when people are like, oh, this is like a Gauntlet ripoff. And it's like, no, Gauntlet ripped off this game. You're playing, you're playing like proto Gauntlet when you play this game. Yeah. And I think it's a really cool game. And so when I saw that it was on, that's what I spent most of my time playing when I fired up the Atari 50. I played some other stuff and I saw, oh, Dark Chambers is on here. And I loaded that up because, like I said, I think I might do a weekend rental episode of it, but it's like, Gauntlet can be kind of like, I don't want to say frenetic, but it's like there's tons of monsters always coming at you. You have that timer that's always counting down. That's also your health. And so it can be kind of stressful, I think, playing Gauntlet. And like Dark Chambers is like Gauntlet without the stress. Like you just kick back in a chair and just, hang out and play it.
Right.
In a way that I think is really cool.
Well, you should check out some of the original games that are on there, if you can. I especially like Vector Sector.
It's fun to say.
It is. Yeah. But it's made up of like 4 different vector-based games, and they all link into each other. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's that alone. I would buy a standalone release of it. Yeah. It's that good.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. I mean, I just like I said, I don't know why I never fired up that Atari 50 thing before. Like I said, I didn't think I owned it. I was like, oh, I got to go pick that up at some point. So, but it's not cheap. But apparently at some point I didn't care. I just bought it anyway. So.
Right. Well, I mean, it was cheap when it came out, it was like $30 or whatever. But now,
Yeah, I think the price.
I don't know if the expanded edition is still easily obtainable or not.
Well, I don't. I mean,
that
the expanded
I edited
edition,
the interviews.
Doesn't it just have
in
the
DLC?
DLC in it?
Yeah.
Like if I just buy the DLC, I have the expanded edition then, right?
Right.
Because you can buy, like, they have a combo pack where you buy both DLC packages together, and it's like $13.99 or something. So I was just going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you should. But you know that I edited the interviews in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the expanded.
I think you've dropped that a few times.
Yeah. It's neat to say that I did something that's like tied to Atari. Like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got a lot of things you've done like that, though, that I think are super cool, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like that's the one that I'm probably most proud of, just because I just think it's neat.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's all I had to say.
Do you got anything else on your list? I don't know if
I'm sure I probably forgot stuff, but that's okay, because that gives us fodder for next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this was episode 60.
Yeah, the big 60.
Wait, yeah, big 60. 5 more episodes and we can retire. Actually,
you know, at my job, I can retire at 60. I max out at 60, so I'm really looking forward to that. 12 more years.
So this is the your retirement episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably never be able to retire, but
sorry,
never. No. I'm sure I'm not alone.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.